Is anybody surprised? Hello, it's here, and welcome to my review of the Transformers Studio Series 86 Leader Class Dinobot Snarl. Yes, once again, another Studio Series 86 Dinobot. These things are always a massive, massive event for Transformers collecting because so far, all three of them have been absolutely phenomenal. Slag is not perfect, and Sludge did have a few issues, but overall, they are absolute marvels of engineering. They are incredible figures overall. All three of them are absolutely worthy of being in the top 5 of the years that they came out there. They're just immaculate figures. They are some of Hasbro's best work to date easily. So when new ones come out, it is an absolutely massive event. Now, I know I'm very late to the party with this and pretty much everybody else has already reviewed it. Can't help it. I pre-ordered them on BBTS and they took a little bit longer, but that's fine. I'm not really in any rush to get these. I just want to get them eventually. As long as I can get them eventually, I am happy. And yes, here is Snarl. And is he just as great as the rest of them? Obviously, yes. But I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. If you guys have tuned in to my other Studio Series 86 Dinobots reviews, then you would know that I very much think that Grimlock was the best one for the past 3, and I still think, and I thought that that neither of the other two, Slag or Sludge, even came close to beating him, and I went on and on and on about that in their respective reviews. I'm going to be honest though, Snarl, this one might be Grimlock. This might be the best one so far. Let's get into the review. Let's start off by taking a look at Snarl, and I mean, the figure speaks for itself. This thing is absolutely fucking legendary looking. Look at this head sculpt. It is absolutely incredible. As Prime vs. Prime said, it does kind of have a bit of a Lord Farquaad vibe from Shrek, but I mean, I'm not going to complain about that. It's a great movie, but yeah, awesome blue piercing eyes right there for the eyes. Beautiful silver face. Love the head right there. The head crown looks awesome. And then you have his Stegosaurus tail split in half against the back there, and even this really cool just spines everywhere. You've got some like lining here and some up here as well, and it's all painted this lovely, lovely, lovely gold, which is just incredible. And there's even some like wing detail on those as well. These pieces are just absolutely gorgeous. And then moving down to the torso, you have his Autobot logo, some beautiful silver picked out for that little bit, and this nice little black panel right here, which looks awesome. I will say on mine, the Autobot logo is a little bit off center. It's barely noticeable. I don't care. I just thought I would point it out because it's barely noticeable, but it is a thing right there. And then moving down there, his legs right there, and he's got some beautiful gold paint right there for these spines going down the legs as well. And then there's absolutely zero kibble on the guy whatsoever. All of this just looks awesome. If you count that as kibble, you are ridiculous. That just looks fucking awesome. That just looks absolutely awesome. Cleans up absolutely perfectly. Even this piece right here, I think it looks fine. It's really, really cool, and there's absolutely no gaps or anything except for these little bits in here, and I mean, nobody's nerfed. This thing looks awesome from like every conceivable angle. Looks so freaking good. And I'm happy to say that he does not have the same problem as Sludge, where he doesn't like to stand up straight. When you stand him up and you have his legs straight, he stands up perfectly. He looks normal and natural, and everything about him is just absolutely glorious. And getting to his posability, he has a beautiful ball joint right here in the head. You get some tilt, you get some up and down movement as well. Awesome movement in the arms, and you can bring them up like this. Now, the arms can only go this much forward, but the transformation, you can untab this piece, and then you can have it go all the way out. Now, this piece locks in, and I really don't understand why they even made this like lock in, because I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, you can just leave it untabbed, and then you can have all that extra articulation. I don't know why you would want to limit your articulation so hard, because you can either have that much articulation or you can tab these in, and you can only have that amount of articulation. I mean, no big deal, no harm done, but still, I don't really know why they went through all the trouble to add like a little lock mechanism right there, but hey, they did. I guess we can't be complaining or anything, but yes, it looks absolutely awesome. And then you have the knees right here, and once again, it is the integrated knee system right there. There's no like flaps or skirt pieces or anything. It all just moves perfectly, and you even have some gorgeous ratchets in these. These are a little bit tighter, but the knees right here, that is maybe the best Ratchet I have heard in a mainline Transformer in like maybe ever actually. That actually might be the best Ratchet I've ever felt on a mainline Transformer for the past like 5 years of Transformers, like new modern Transformers. That is a beautiful, beautiful sound. And then you do have a gorgeous angle pivot right there. There's no little sculpted detail that comes out, but that's okay. It's nice when they do that, but when it's not there, I personally don't really mind too much or anything like that. Overall, he just looks absolutely awesome. Now, we do have a couple minor little negatives to, and I do mean minor, the most minorest of negatives, but a few I did want to point out real quick. I hate to be that guy, but the plastic quality in his legs, specifically this part, feels a little bit cheaper than I would like on a $60 leader class. And as such, I haven't done this yet, but he's absolutely lighter than Sludge. He is about the same weight as Grimlock, and about the same weight as Slag. Yeah, these actually feel like these are about the same weight. I think he might have been a little bit lighter than Grimlock. Yeah, he's a little bit lighter than Grimlock. So he's not the best feeling of these 4 Dinobots. It turns out Sludge is actually the best feeling. His plastic feels the heftiest and nicest. I mean, he of course has those awful legs that I hate. But, and I will say that this guy's legs are great, and he does have those ratchets, but he does have kind of a loose outward movement right there. Like, you can see, this piece could have used some tightening. I might be able to put some kikis in there and fix that up. I have not tried yet, but it's not really a big deal. I don't really think it's worth complaining about. You hardly ever notice it, and the reason it sucks so much on Sludge is because of Sludge's transformation. The problem with this guy is that because of his transformation, his legs had to go in a little bit, so they just feel so wibbly and wobbly because they're always like trying to go in and out and in, and it's such a loose joint. That was the problem with Sludge. This guy doesn't have to do that, and in fact, they even did that because in his transformation, he does need to get his legs closer together, but they instead of making it like that to where it feels all crappy, it just slides out a little bit like that. That's what they should have done on Sludge so we could avoid that problem that Sludge has where his legs just feel like uncooked noodles all the time. But of course with mine's upgrade kits and the better knees and hips, it is quite a bit better. But even, I mean, if you're not willing to go to get upgrade kits, then you're kind of out of luck with that. I mean, even if you try and fix it on your own, mine lasted very, very little time with my little fix on its own. I had to get that upgrade kit for him to get in an even like remotely acceptable condition for his legs. I mean, that figure is great and all, but he's just really weighed down by a few things. And you can even kind of tell by this, by just looking at this plastic, that it's not as premium as some of the most of the plastic on this guy and even some of the other Dinobots. Like, it just kind of catches the light a little. Like, see how much like it's like lighter than the plastic on this? This feels way heftier. I mean, this isn't anything like too premium or anything, but this just feels a little bit cheaper than I would like. Again, $60 leader class, you don't really want to feel this kind of cheaper plastic on this. Like, I'm actually really curious, what does this guy feel like compared to the Fallen? Holy moly, the Fallen is significantly heavier than him. That is definitely something I'm glad I showed on camera. But overall, it's not a huge deal, and honestly, that's pretty much the only negative with this guy. It's just that these parts of the legs just feel a little bit less premium than the whole rest of him. Now, getting into the accessories, you only get one, but it is quite a great one. You get his sword. Yes, Snarl actually comes with a sword instead of a gun, which is pretty cool. And you can just give it to him just like this, which is really, really awesome. And thanks to his transformation, he does have a sword-wielding wrist because you can just pop this piece out of his forearm right there, and then you can use this transformation joint to get some sword-wielding wrist right there. Now you might say, DK, it's very, very loose, so it doesn't really work, but you can just bring this piece back up to lock it in place right there. So you just bring that up, and then you can just lock that in place right there. So he does have some really, really nice sword-wielding wrist. You can get him in a lot of really great poses with that sword, and yeah, it looks awesome. Now this, he's not wanting to hold it all the way in this hand. There we go. I just had to push it in there a little bit better. So yeah, the sword is really, really freaking awesome. I think it looks awesome. It is a softer sword, but not a huge deal, and it does maintain its shape very well, and the molding is really, really great. And then for weapon storage, you do have a lovely, lovely little port right here on the back for you to store it whenever you like, which is absolutely awesome. And yes, it does stay on there very, very nice and tight. And yeah, just overall, pretty much everything about this guy is absolutely fantastic. All right, now for comparison, let's start off by going over each of these guys individually. So here he is with Grimlock. Here he is with Slag. And here he is with Sludge. And I want to talk real quick about the comparison between him and Sludge. You guys always heard me say that I do not like the way that Sludge stands. This is why. This should be 100% obvious. This should, if you still didn't understand what I was talking about when I said that multiple times, this is my problem with Sludge. He stands like this. Look at how he's standing. He's leaning it too far back compared to Snarl here, who is standing straight up. And if I bend his knees inward, if I bend his hips inward, now he's looking way too far down. He looks like he's looking at Snarl's tits right there, like he is just dying to see those. And then if you want to go this way, now he looks like he's looking too far down and he has weird freaking knees. So no matter what you do with this thing, it always looks wrong. No matter how he stands, he always looks wrong, which is why he is by far, in my opinion, the weakest figure. I'm sorry, but that leg thing drives me bananas. With that being said, though, this shot right here cannot be understated how awesome this is. Look at this. We have 4 gigantic, basically perfectly accurate representations of the 86 Dinobots. These things are freaking incredible, man. Like, this shot right here, I can see someone making this their fucking, like, YouTube banner, dude. This is a immaculate thing that they have, that Hasbro has given us in modern Transformers, and it really cannot be understated, and I definitely cannot wait to see what they do with Swoop. Yeah, these guys are incredible. I would rank them, but that would spoil my opinion of Snarl, so I will save the whole ranking for when Swoop comes out. Now, for some other comparisons, here he is with the SS-86 Ironhide and the Earthrise Optimus Prime there, so you can see how he looks with some other G1 characters and scales absolutely phenomenally. Here he is with a different kind of Dinobot. And here he is with Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Now, getting to Snarl's transformation. I actually think this is probably the most fun one out of the bunch besides Grimlock. However, I think it's superior to Grimlock's because it's a lot more inventive and unique, and it's a very weird transformation, and at times it does feel like it does feel like it should feel fiddly, but it doesn't really ever actually feel fiddly. It's a very cool transformation, and this thing right here, that is awesome. And I just want to show real quick, you see this massive like slider piece that this guy is on connecting his torso? This piece is so premium that when you have him locked in, there is no wiggle, there is no telltale sign whatsoever, and you can give him a good shake, and that does not come out unless you just like rip him in half right there, which is pretty awesome. It's also very satisfying to snap that back in. This is quite a wild transformation, so let's get into it. First off, you want to come to his arms here, and you want to break the arms like this, and then pop that piece out and fold that hand in, fold that piece back down, and rotate the arm like that, and then you have a tab right there that's going to go into a slot right there. So bring that out and tab that in right there, and that's what you're going to get. So come over to this side and bring that out and tab that, fold that around. You got to bring that out so you have clearance to flip in the hand, bring that back down, and then untab the arm, bring that back up, and tab that in right there. So that is what you have right now. We're going to come down to the legs here, fold his feet like this. We're going to rotate him at the waist, and then actually we're going to pop back up to the head here. We're going to untap this back panel right here. That's going to untap, and then you're going to fold that piece up, push his head into this little cavity right there, fold that piece up, and then you're going to want to come to the tail here and then snap that together, and we'll take off his sword right there. Now what you're going to do is you're going to pop this little panel up just like that. You're going to see there's a bunch of space in there, and then you're going to extend him at the torso right there. And I already talked about that in my overview of the figure, that feels very, very nice and satisfying to do, and it's very sturdy and secure. Next up, you're going to come to the feet here, and you're going to open up these back panels, and then you're going to fold this little leg out and then fold that down, and there's a tab in a slot right there, and that's just going to tab in right there. Same thing on this side. So these are very tight ball joints, but just do that and then fold those pieces out. You want to make sure all of this is flat and none of the ankle pivot is being engaged right now. Then you want to come to the legs here, grab them by the thigh here in this, and push that out. Slide that piece forward like that. So once again on this side, like that. You want to have it like that, so you have that going on. Now you're going to rotate this a little bit, and you're going to come here to this piece, and I recommend just kind of popping this little panel out like this, then take your finger and just get this little piece out of the legs right there, and then put this back, and you have to make sure you tab this piece back in. You cannot save this. You have to tab this back in right now. And what I recommend doing is just kind of angle in there, and it will just go right in there, just like that. You have to do that now. You cannot do that later. So untab that, and I will tell you why. Don't worry. Fold that out with your thumb right there, and then bring that back down, and again, just like angle that in there, and make sure that those are tabbed in. Now you're going to combine the legs together. Tab in right there, and the head. And the reason that you have to tab those pieces back in immediately, you can't wait till last, is because if you don't, it's very difficult to get those tabbed in, and if you don't get those tabbed in, the head will have a huge gap down the middle right here, so you have to make sure you tab those in. Now you want to bend the legs one click down, and you want to make sure this is fully extended and this is fully lifted up, and then you should be able to just take the leg assemble here, and you should just be able to just flip this in, and the feet should just clear the torso right here. And then you want to push that panel back like that, and then there's 2 tabs that are going to go into the slots right there on the feet, and then that piece is going to tab in just like that. Then you come down here, fold that piece in, and there's a tab in a slot right there, and then those pieces are also going to tab together right there. Very, very satisfying to do. And then fold that feet down, fold that feet out, fold that leg down, and that feet out, rotate these back panels down, these back legs down, and there you have Snarl in his Dino mode. I heard some people were unhappy with this Dino mode. What's wrong with you? This thing is perfect. This Dino mode is absolutely sublime, dude. Look at this freaking thing. This little squash Dino Snarl head that is just remarkably accurate. His little opening mouth as well that is absolutely awesome. These arms right here are on ball joints, which is really, really awesome. And then you have this just awesome looking Dino, man. Love how this piece comes and covers up that chest piece right there. All the molded in detail right there for all of the mechanical robo parts right there. The bottom is actually really clean as well. There's this little bite right there, but no harm done. In my opinion, it looks awesome. And then the tail is amazing. Now, the arch that the tail sits on is a little bit strange. It would have been weird. It would have been better if it could have like moved out ever so slightly, but I'm not mad whatsoever. I'm not even counting it as a knock against the figure because it still works great and the Dino mode is terrific. It's just delightful to hold this thing, man. It's really awesome. And he really shrinks down in this mode, which is really, really cool. I remember when I transported this guy back to my transported. Is that right? No, yeah, transported. When I took this guy back home, I put him in Dino mode, and he just holds really well. It just feels like a little package that you're carrying around, and it helps that he has immaculate weapon storage as well. Beautiful little tabs right here on the bottom that you can just plug his sword into right there. Boom. That is the whole figure. This is how I transported him back to my house in this really tiny little package right here. Sword stored right there. What more do you want? It is absolutely terrific, man. This Dino mode is absolutely phenomenal. Maybe, I don't know if I can say it's the best one. Sludge's Dino mode was absolutely immaculate. I think I got to give the best Dino mode to Sludge, but I mean, that transformation is definitely better than Sludge's in my opinion. Sludge's transformation is great, but it's really, I don't know, I don't find myself wanting to do it all that much. It's great, it's really cool and really unique, but sometimes you don't really want to relive it. It's kind of clashy, the legs aren't the most fun thing ever. Getting everything tabbed together is a little bit of a pain in the butt. This guy doesn't fight you one step. The only complaint I can come up with for this mode and the transformation as a whole is that the tail doesn't like to stay tabbed in all the time. You can usually get it to stay tabbed in if you just give it a nice little pinch right there, but right now you can see it is just not wanting to stay together. Tiniest, minorest little complaint in the world. You'll literally never even be able to notice it. The Dino mode is absolutely awesome. And I do want to point out that he does have those little bits right there on his tail for blast effects, so you can do like what he does in the show where he shoots from the those little blasters on his tail right there, which is really, really cool. Overall, the Dino mode is absolutely exceptional in my opinion. Here is some comparisons. Once again, we will kick things off with some of the single comparisons. So here he is with Grimlock. Okay, there he is with Grimlock. Here he is with Slag. These two look very, very cool together. What is that? Get off my Dinobot. There we go. So there he is with Slag. Here he is with Sludge, who I once again reiterate is absolutely the winner in terms of Dino mode. This is absolutely the best Dino mode of them all. Like, this thing is really freaking glorious in my opinion, but I actually think Snarl is probably second place in Dino mode. I absolutely love the way he looks, man. So damn awesome. But, I mean, Sludge is just glorious. Look at this freaking thing, man. It's absolutely immaculate looking. So, there's Sludge. And there is the full shot. And once again, it cannot be understated how awesome these figures are. How much of a milestone that this segment of Modern Transformers is for people who are here. I mean, like, these things are incredible. And if you missed even one of these, I honestly feel so bad for you. I mean, they're not all knockout wins. I definitely say the better figures are on this side. But even with that being said, even with these being slightly weaker than this side, these are still just absolutely immaculate, and having all four of them, especially when we get Swoop and we have all of them, like, I have these guys lining the back of one of my shelves on my shelf, and it just looks fucking awesome, dude. These figures are truly legendary. And I'm not really sure what else to compare this with, so here it is with the 86 Wheelie, and here he is with Great Rimuru-sama. So final thoughts on Studio Series 86 Snarl. By the way, I forgot to mention wrist swivels as well. Totally forgot to mention that. And yeah, definitely did want to point that out real quick. Final thoughts on 86 Snarl. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I feel confident in saying that this is my favorite 86 Dinobot so far. I think this has defeated Grimlock. This thing is absolutely immaculate. The only issue I can really come up with this thing, I mean, I tried to be a little picky right here with some cheaper plastic on his legs right here. Minorest little complaint ever. It still feels perfectly fine. It just doesn't feel like that super premium stuff. Like, if I pick him up with, like, Orange and Jazz right here, like, I don't know. Yeah, the plastic, what am I talking about? Yeah, the plastic's just a little bit less premium in the legs. Tiniest little thing in the world. Honestly, the only real issue with this thing is that the legs are just ever so slightly too loose out this way. Really not a big deal. And aside from that, he is just magnificent. The robot mode looks absolutely awesome. All of the gold paint looks incredible. The spine's just shaping the way his head looks. His head also looks awesome. Love the sword. Perfect weapon storage in both modes. Transformation is a blast. Super fun and addicting. Just snaps together with such awesome thing. This little part right here is giving me life every single time I do it. Beautiful ankle pivot right here. The alt mode looks awesome. Besides the tiny little bit of looseness in the legs, this thing is basically flawless. And I do feel pretty confident in saying that this is probably what I would say is the best 86 Dinobot so far. I never thought that they would be able to top Grimlock. I really didn't. I thought he was just way too perfect, and he is definitely the second best after this. But this figure has absolutely dethroned the 86 Grimlock for me. I don't think it's my favorite 86 figure. That award goes to the 86 Voyager class Ironhide. But he's probably not too far behind that. This thing is immaculate, and if you haven't picked it up yet, you absolutely need to pick this one up. If you are collecting these Dinobots, of course. And with that, all we need now is Swoop. One more to go, and we will have the whole team. Man, can you believe it? Remember when we were reviewing Grimlock and then Slag, and we were like, oh, it's going to take so long to get the whole team. And we didn't even know if they were going to make Snarl, because Snarl is like barely even in the 86 movie. Look at here we are right now. We're one away from completing this team, and they are just the stuff of legend, man. All four of these figures are immaculate, but I have to say Snarl is currently my favorite and what I would consider the best. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give me a like and subscribe for some more Transformer reviews in the future. Let me know your thoughts on the Studio Series 86 Leader Class Snarl. And while you're down there, also throw me what your personal favorite of the four figures is so far. And with that being said, thank you for watching. And this is DK Guillotine. I'm signing out.